So 28 days ago, in fact, it was the 1st of April, April Fool's Day. And I'm sure that the street thought the street might have thought you were the fool as we turned Ben's lovely green Tiff Tuff lawn into a sandy beach. Forward tracking 28 days, as you can see, had absolutely phenomenal success. I was actually really hoping to be here for the first mow, which was actually a rotary mow. I did actually turn up and it was somewhat wet.
Yes, it was raining.
It was raining. It was raining cats and dogs. So we got a little tiny break in the weather, and we used that little break in the weather to do a little bit of fertilizer application, because that's all we could do. It was far too wet to do anything in the way of mowing. So I sort of set Ben up with a mow. I think the first height of cut we did with the rotary was about 25 mils-ish.
Yeah, 3 on the Honda.
3 on the Honda. I'll put up on the screen what that actually is. So today I've travelled back down again.
Yep.
Today Ben's going to get his reel mower out. We're going to give this the first reel mow to lay down some stripes. If that doesn't cause a crash in the street from people looking, nothing will. Then we're going to put down some more liquid.
Yep.
And going to run through a few little spots. There's a few dry spots that we'll talk about.
Yep.
And we'll find out your first initial thoughts on it all. Let's crack on, guys. Okay, so as you can see, we've had a pretty good response. So the seed sort of came up in about that 5 to 7 day period.
Yep.
But you did actually encounter a little bit of sprinkler wash.
Yeah.
So at day 7, Ben decided he'd add a little bit more seed to certain spots. Now, one of those spots was, believe it or not, was actually here in this shady spot. Point it out, man, where was it?
It was roughly around here.
Righto, so as you can see, he's put the seed down on day 7, thereabouts. Where else did you have some, mate?
It was a big patch, roughly where I'm standing here.
Righto, so a larger patch. Sort of around this area here. So Ben's threw a bit more seed down, and he actually hand watered those spots just to encourage, because his sprinklers were a little bit harsh, and it did actually shift a bit of seed. Now, I did actually encounter that myself at home last time I did rye. I had one sprinkler that caused a bit of that damage. So I know what it's like, and it can happen. The other thing to keep in mind, guys, is if you are doing a rye oversow at home and you have got larger trees and stuff, we've got another section on the other side of Ben's second driveway, which we just did off camera. There's no point showing anymore. The concept was the same. However, now that it's actually started to germinate, we can see where the tree roots are actually really taking advantage of that extra water. So Ben's going to have to be a little bit vigilant there with hand watering, because ryegrass obviously doesn't have the drought tolerance of your Tiff Tuff. So let's have a look at that there now. So this is the bit that we didn't actually film on camera. We just did it off camera, and you'll see just down here, it is a little bit more light. There is actually some young seed through there pushing through, and Ben also did get a bit of wash from his sprinkler ones right there. But as you see also over this section here, we do have some dry patch. So because of the tree that's just here, this one here, it is actually taking a little bit of extra moisture out of the ground. So that's going to be a hand watering spot for Ben to keep a little eye on. But as we cast our eyes back over there, I think you'll agree, by the time we get some stripes on that, it's going to look pretty impressive. Looks like a pretty serious bit of kit you got going on here.
Yeah.
So a Mowmaster 22R, so I'm guessing that's 22 inches?
Yep.
How long you had it for now, man?
About 18 months.
18 months, and what do you think of it?
It's a good mower for when I'm mowing the Tiff Tuff out the front at 8 mil. It's nice and heavy. So
it's got a lot of good weight around it. So yeah, good for couch grass, and it's going to lay some pretty nice stripes here today as well. Honda motor, nice choice of motors there, man.
Yep.
And you were mentioning to me earlier that you find having the catcher on the front, which is the same as all sort of cylinder mowers, a little bit cumbersome in tighter spots.
Yeah, it's just trying to get in and around stuff. It's a bigger mower, and it's that heavy, so you've got to manoeuvre around that a little bit more. Yep,
but other than that, And what about your reel, man? How many blades, or roughly, is it 8 blades?
Yeah, it's 8.
8 blade reel.
Yep.
And it's a really thick, heavy duty reel, guys.
Yeah.
It's a lot thicker than what's on those Tyro mowers that I run, and definitely maybe twice as thick as a Scotty B reel. Yep. So it's definitely a nice, heavy, well-built sort of machine, and made in Australia too.
Yeah, it's a good mower. I'm really happy with it, and it's nice to support the Australian made stuff.
Absolutely. So today we're set at about 16 mils.
Yeah.
With ryegrass, you don't want to be going crazy low short, especially if it's just a temporary winter thing. So, you know, for me, somewhere between 15 and 18 mils is probably a sweet spot for rye with a reel mower.
Yep.
In winter. If you're running longer term and you're right on your game, you could probably get down to sort of, you know, 10 or 12. But if you stuck at 15, you're going to get optimal stripes. You're going to get, you know, not put too much pressure on the lawn. As I said, today we're at 16. We'll just give that its first reel mow at 16. And you may even choose to leave it there, whatever you want to do going forward. But we will come back again later on in the season and see how you're tracking with it all.
Yep.
Yeah, all right. Well, I suppose might be time. Let's hope your lines are straight.
I hope so.
Mate, one full catcher.
Yeah.
And that actually took off a heap.
That did.
What about, I can smell it already. What about the smell of ryegrass?
It smells pretty good.
Seriously guys, if you've never experienced ryegrass getting cut before, it's got this really, or for some, and I'm a weirdo, like this intoxicating smell. It's got a really sort of sweet sort of, I don't know, it's got a sort of a sweeter sort of smell. It, you know, Kikuyu has a certain smell when it's cut. Yeah. Cooch does, buffalo does. This has got its own unique sort of smell again, and it's just taken me right back to my place last year. That smell, that first cut particularly. There's a lot of nutrients in that leaf. There's a lot of moisture in it. It's a very wet sort of grass, as you can see. But yeah, first reel mow and a full catcher, and we're talking about 100 square meters.
75.
75 square meters and a full catcher. So. Looking pretty good for first cut. I noticed as we look around, there's a couple of little stalks still. Maybe in hindsight, I could have suggested a rotary mow first, a little bit lower to cut some of the taller stuff, but I reckon one more cut with this will take care of that. But going forward, as this grass, this is only 28 days old, guys. Once this starts to, you know, get a bit more mature and thicken up, this won't be an issue. But for a first cut, I think it's looking pretty amazing. What's your first impressions, Ben?
Unreal.
Unreal.
I noticed it was thicker, like where the house gets, out the front of the house gets more shade.
Yep.
I noticed it was thicker up that half.
Yep.
Close to the road.
Yeah, right. Yep.
When I was mowing it.
I saw a lot coming into the catcher.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, look, that's going pretty good. All right, we may as well empty this bit out and run over it again, and then we might chuck a bit of liquid out.
Yep.
Cool.
Sounds good.
So second cut has really cleaned it up heaps.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts, mate?
Pretty unreal, pretty stoked.
I would be pretty happy if it was mine.
Happy to see some nice lines.
Yes.
Straight.
Yeah, no, that's looking really good. There's one glaring issue I do see though.
The edges?
The edges. Yeah. we're going to move on to put some liquids on. We're going to really keep this ryegrass ticking over, get it to maturity, so I guess you could say as quickly as we can.
Yep.
So we did put down half a granular application when we sowed the grass.
Yep.
2 weeks later, was it 2? It was 3 weeks later. 3 weeks later. We put down that second application. So that was about a week ago.
Yep.
So what we'll do now is we're going to put down some liquids today. We're going to put down my little special mix, which is your Stimulizer, Activate Extra, and some Seaweed Secrets. So basically we've just given it a bit of a cut. We have removed more than 1/3 of the leaf blade on this particular mow.
Yeah.
So we're going to use our Stimulizer to help our roots continue to develop nice and strong.
Yep.
We're going to use our Seaweed Secrets to help bust any stress of what we've just done to it. And then we're going to do a lighter rate of our Activate Extra just to keep things ticking over. And I've said to Ben, going forward from here, what we'll do is, or what you can do is every fortnight we'll do some liquids.
Yep.
And then we can do a monthly half rate granular application, and that'll keep this thing absolutely humming along, making the neighbours green with envy. Okay, so it's time now to put out our liquids, and what I'm also going to do at the end, now we've talked about in the past, when it comes to iron, it's not actually compatible with our Activate Extra. So what we're going to do is just to give it a little kick along as well, a bit of the weekend's here, it's Friday afternoon, going to be a lot of people driving around on the weekend. I've said to Ben, let's just chuck out a really light entry-level rate of iron. So we're going to put these ones out first, and then we're quite within our means to chuck this straight in and go over again. It's not going to cause any effect that way. They just don't mix together when we're mixing up our products. So we'll get these in here now, and we'll get this stuff out. So I'm pretty much sticking to label rates here. I'm going to use 100 mils of our Seaweed Secrets, which is our stress buster. Activate Extra, which is our liquid fertilizer essentially. We're going to go our entry level rate at that as well. Again, 100 mils. Finally, tiny little splash of Stimulizer, which is going to help develop our root system. That's it. So I'll add water and stir. Ben's done a pretty good job at, you've got that down to a fine art. 10 litres covers your whole yard, down to the mill pretty much.
Yep.
As I mentioned earlier, liquid iron doesn't mix well with certain products, and one of those products was one of the ones we just put down. So we'll put it down independently. We can spray it straight on, and no harm will be done. Now, all of these products we've used today are probably more so designed to be left on the leaf rather than irrigated in. So that's why you won't see me mix anything like some soil wetters or anything Quantum H or anything like that. Those sort of products, generally I like to focus with an easy flow system or something that I'm going to put out before I irrigate. Just on that, guys, look, if you are after any of this sort of stuff for your winter project, these would be some of my picks of your essential winter ryegrass arsenal. A good supply of Seaweed Secrets, some liquid ferts such as the Activate Extra, some granular like the Plant Doctor stuff.
Yeah.
Now, actually on that, you used that here for the first time.
Yep.
What's your thoughts?
It was unreal stuff.
Seriously, guys.
It greened up.
Yep. Ben had really, really good results from it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you what he was using because I don't want to badmouth anyone else,
Yeah.
but it was a lot dearer product.
It was.
And you're probably only going to finish off the bag because you got it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
So,
it was half rate.
and yeah, for this sort of stuff, half rate, and same with Tiff Tough because less is more with Tiff Tough as well. Anyway, so we'll go an entry level rate of iron, as I said. So what this is going to do is basically just give us a little bit of extra colour, although you probably can argue it doesn't need it, but we'll just give it a little kick for the weekend. So once again, entry-level rate, 150 to 400 mils per 100 square metres. So we're going to stick to pretty much the entry-level rate, and you could apply this basically every 4 weeks if you wanted to, quite safely, quite happily.
Yep.
So yeah, we'll just go an entry-level rate today, because as I said, this lawn is only 28 days old, guys. We don't want to juice it out of its eyeballs. We just want to keep it on its toes.
Yep.
So let's mix it up and you can go for a walk again. Just remember, guys, though, when you are going to apply iron will stain concrete and walls and stuff, so just be aware that you don't want to get too much of it on your driveways, etc., because it's going to leave marks. Okay guys, so all this stuff, we'll leave this on the leaf. It doesn't need to be irrigated in. Normally I would say rinse it off the leaf the next day. However, this weekend is forecast to rain, so you won't have to worry about any watering for a while. This is going to, by the morning, man, this is going to be a whole different shade of green. So that's really good. Fresh off the press, guys, just finally before I sign off, and I've only just got this email now, next weekend is our meet and greet. So you get the opportunity to come out to, if you're in the Sydney area, come out and say good day to myself and Ben Sims from Lawn Tips. We're going to be at a turf farm at the bottom of the screen. I'm on a mental blank at the moment. Actually, no, let me check my phone. So we're going to be at, I'm looking at this because I just got it. So it's going to be at Green Life Turf, and that is in Freeman's Reach. So basically that Richmond, Windsor area of Sydney. Come out and say good day between 9 and 11. There will be light refreshments and some giveaways on the day. So if you're available in Sydney and you want to come and say good day, more than happy to come and have a chat. We'll have a look at all the different turf that's there. If you've got any questions about upcoming turf, or you want my opinion or Ben's opinion or somebody else's opinion on potential grasses for your new project, come and talk to us. We've got all the grasses there to have a look at, and I believe also they've got the new Zoysia australis there as well. So really looking forward to that one. Anyway guys, look, we'll wrap it up here. If you've enjoyed today's video, like, subscribe, share this video with your mates. You have a fantastic weekend. We'll catch you next time on the Aussie Lawn.